We should be, all right, well, we should be
It's
live.
live stream. Got it.
Yep, do you see it on your end?
Yes.
All right, great. For some reason, I have a big white screen that says Zoom. We're not on, but we are on. Hi, everybody. It is me, Stephanie Nietzsche, and I am here today with fellow author, Jill Shannon.
Hi, everybody.
Jill.
Hello, Steph. How are you?
Good. How's it going today?
It's been busy.
Busy's good. Busy's good.
Yeah.
Right? When you say busy, do you mean busy just with life in general, or do you mean busy writing?
I wish writing. Life has just
so
been
busy with life in general. So for those of you who, for those of you out there who do not know Jill, give us a little background, give us a little history here.
Well, I write for Blushing Books. I've been with them for the past 6 years now, and I have 2 series with them. They just redid my Midnight Oasis series, so they turned it into a collection on Kindle Unlimited.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So they re-edited all 3 books, put it into the collection, and now it's on Kindle Unlimited, which I'm really excited about because I knew they needed to be re-edited so badly.
Yeah, well, you should be excited. New stuff is always good. Was that always meant to be in a series or no?
Yes, those 3 I definitely wanted to do in a series because I wanted to do one, they're BDSM cruise ships. So I wanted to do a ship out of New York, actually Florida, California, and Dubai, because I have a fascination with Dubai. So I learned a whole lot doing my research for the Black Diamond.
Have you been to Dubai?
No, but I would love to.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty exciting over there. I haven't been there myself, but I hear it's pretty exciting. Very elaborate, a lot going on.
Very. And the hotel that I based Black Diamond in when they got off of the cruise ship, incredible. The hotel is incredible.
So and give me a little bit of, let's go back a little bit and let's do some writing history.
Okay.
Like as a child, like I always ask everyone, was writing in the cards for you? Was writing a dream of yours your entire life? Like give us a little background on that.
No. I think the first thing that I ever wrote was in 8th grade because my English teacher wanted us to read a book and do a report. I never read a book, but I made up the book. I made up the author, did the whole report on just my imagination. And
I got book?
Huh?
It was a fake book?
I made up the
published book. Wow, that's a new one. I haven't heard that one yet.
I didn't read at the time. I was really into sports when I was in kids, so reading didn't come until later on.
I'm so curious. What was that book about? Do you remember that you made up?
Oh God, no, I couldn't even remember.
And you don't have it, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, that would be fantastic if you had that, to look back at that, something that you oh wow, you wrote about a book that didn't even exist, that was just in your head. I think that's pretty amazing. And did you pass? She loved it.
I got an A on it.
Wow, that is so interesting. So did that jumpstart you to like writing, or no, that didn't even do it?
Nope. I actually didn't start writing until I was 52. Between the time that I wrote that story in 8th grade and now, all I did was read, and I read everything. I read Johanna Lindsay, Lindsay Sands, Kathleen Woody Weiss, Kinley McGregor, who is Sherilyn Kenyon. I mean, my book collection was insane.
And you read for the purpose of just reading, or because now you wanted to read to start to write?
No, I read for reading.
You read for reading. Wow. So what told you, hey, I'm going to write a book? Like what inspired you to do that?
I think everybody that does read as much as we do eventually turns around and says, I'm going to write a book one day. And we say it all the time. And as I started reading the same scenario over and over and over in all of my books in different genres and with different authors. I finally said, I can't stand this no more. I'm just going to write my own. I want to write what I want to read.
Right. They say
So
to do
that's,
that though. They say write what you want to read. So,
yep,
because obviously that might be something missing. Like you said, that was missing, right? You just kept on reading the same stuff over and over again. You
yeah,
weren't really like filling your appetite for
no.
what you wanted to read. So
If
you
it was
wrote,
a if it was a good book, I would finish it in a day. That's how much I
yeah,
read.
I could do that too. If it's a good book,
Yep.
keeps me interested, and there's nothing like so pressing that I have to do, I can definitely finish a book in a day. Sometimes when we go on vacation, I take a book. Well, I always have a book with me, but sometimes I have an opportunity to read because we go to a lot of beachy places, especially
Right.
since we're on Long Island like you. So
Yes.
we are gifted with so many beautiful beaches. So we love to, sit outside, listen to the water, and it's like a perfect
And just
opportunity
be.
to read. Yeah, and
And
just be,
just
and
be.
you could just
Yes.
get lost in your thoughts with the book, like just
Yep.
you and the book become one. So I think
I
that too is fascinating. I just
I
want to say hi to a couple of people. Don't
okay.
forget that thought. I just want to say hi
Okay.
to Josephine, who is joining us this morning. Hi, Josephine. And Sarah Louisa is also, she said, morning, ladies. Morning,
Hi.
Sarah. I just wanted to acknowledge a couple of people because I know sometimes we get so wrapped up in talking that, we don't know what the heck is going on around us. So I
We're
just wanted to
sorry.
say hi, ladies. Now, okay, let's get back to, I'm sorry. Do you
It
remember?
also got to the point with my husband where I was reading so much. He would get mad at me because I would just like block everything out and just read. So I put down the books for a while, and then again I picked them up because little by little I'll add them in, and then again read them for a weekend and be done.
Right,
But
right.
I started reading one series, and they were different people in each series, but it was the same story.
What was that book about? What was that series about?
Dragons.
Which
Yeah.
is interesting because you do not write about dragons.
No, no. Lindsay Sands writes about vampires. I love reading her books. She's got an awesome series for vampires if you're into those.
So you read, well, I love everything. As a reader, I'm not like a mood reader, but I am a mood reader. Like I have to be in the mood for the certain book. Like sometimes I want to read suspense, like I'm in that kind of, like the fall right now, the season
Yeah.
makes me want to read suspense or horror, mystery, something along those lines. But I also love lighthearted, like romantic,
Mm-hmm.
comedic style books, like kind of like the books that I write,
Yeah.
contemporary women's fiction. I mean, not that my books are like a rom-com. I mean, they could be, if someone wrote a script for them, or if I wrote a script for them, because there are some humorous moments in them. But just like movies, I love rom-coms, but I am a mood reader. So I
Yeah.
can really read anything if I'm in the mood for it. Like
Me, it
you,
was
right?
with me, it was always if my author came out with a new book. Oh, I had it right.
Ah,
I had it right. The minute that Kindle came out, oh my God, I was like a kid in a candy store.
I know, right? Because then you can take it anywhere. And it's so great. We can even read on our phones,
Yes,
right?
that's a
Like
little too small for me now with the glasses, but
many readers don't, they don't know that you can get that app, the Kindle
mhm.
app. It is hard
Oh
because the
yeah,
print is small, but I think you can widen it, like,
yeah,
open up the screen with your fingers. But a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people think you have to have a Kindle. So guys, I just want to say you do not need a Kindle or a Nook or, whatever the name it is that it goes by. You could just get these books on your cell phone. So you don't even
yes,
need another electronic device, which I think is awesome,
yes,
right?
yes. Oh
Very,
God,
very
how far
good.
we've come.
Yeah, I know we have come really far. Books were always paper,
Yes,
right?
I used
And
to walk into Borders, and from here to here, I would have my books lined up. I would
oh,
just go,
wow.
and I was always a cover girl. If the cover looked good, I bought the book. It didn't even matter what the back of it said. If that
Yeah.
cover looked good, I bought the book.
See, now that holds so true when they say the cover is the first thing the reader sees. So for
Yep,
you, that is definitely the first thing that you see. If it's
yep,
not an author that you follow, you go
right.
by the cover
Yes,
and you don't even have to read the blurb in the
yeah,
back of the book.
nope.
So let me ask you this. Do you find that when you look at a cover, the majority of covers or all covers tell the story of what's inside? Like, did you ever come up with a book that you saw the cover and then when you started to read the book, since you don't read the blurb, you were like, whoa, this is not what I thought? That happened
I,
before?
I'd be reading and I'd be like, wait, that
Just to
guy
be
does not look like anything about this guy in this book. Nothing.
see, that happens, right? That happens.
Yeah,
I guess sometimes it pays off to read the blurb.
yeah, sometimes. But then again, I visualize as I read, I visualize what they're describing.
Right,
And
right.
as they were describing, this guy was like blonde or something like it's and on the cover he was dark haired. And I was like, that
Wow.
doesn't make sense. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Not knowing anything about the process of how to make a book or anything. I was just a strictly reader then, you know.
Right,
But
right.
even at that time, I would be like, why? That's why Hunter's Treasure in my Celtic Demons series, if you read the description of the guy in the book, he looks identical, except for the hair, to the guy on the cover.
Now,
Because
do you
I
think that that's the way it should be?
um
What do you think now that you're a
I
writer? What do
I
you
had
think?
I had never read a book like that. There were similarities to the cover, to the guy described inside, but nothing identical. Vinny's got tattoos all over him, and his tattoos are described in the book.
Right.
You
So
know,
he's described as he is on the cover, except maybe for the texture of his hair,
yes,
right?
length. It's actually length of his hair.
Oh, okay. So in the story, is his hair longer than it is on the cover of the book?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
don't think that's really such a bad thing. More, I don't think the
Yeah.
length really, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. But it's so funny how you say you look at the covers because I know we all look at the covers. But if readers knew the pains that we went through to create the blurbs on the back of the book, right? And then some readers are going to go, look at that. Jill doesn't even read the blurb on the back of the book. That's how great the cover is, though. So that says a lot about the cover designer and about,
Yes.
some writers create their own covers. It says a lot about the writer if they created the cover or whoever the cover designer was, or the communication between the
Yeah.
writer and the designer, which is so important, guys. So for anybody out there who's like, new
Oh God.
with all of this, it's really important to have good communication with whoever you are working with.
Yes.
It's so, so important. And they really have to give you the time, especially when you're paying for it. You know what I mean? Because you want that to translate. But
Yes.
writing a blurb is right. Sometimes
Oh, it's
writing a blurb
it's.
could take longer than writing the book.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. It's you write I think my books are averaged about 300 pages each, if not more.
That's a nice length.
And you get finished with the book, and they say, okay, now take all of that and describe it in 500 words.
Right?
And I'm like,
How hard is that?
and I know people say, keep a pad next to you and blot down things that you might want to add. And there's just so much that I would have wanted to add into each one of my blurbs that me personally, I have to wait until the end,
Right.
because as like if I'm writing chapter 4, 5, and 6, but 8, 9, and 10 really have what I want to say, it makes no sense for me to write this down and take the time away from the actual writing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
for me, that's how I do it,
I would feel the same way. I don't feel like I could create a blurb until the story itself. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I don't think it would be fully rounded. And another thing about these blurbs is I did something on YouTube talking about that, about giving away too much. Because if you give
Yes.
away too much, it's the same thing when people find out that you're a writer and they say, "Oh, what is your book?" or "What are your books about?" You have to be careful to not give away the story. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's easy when you're so passionate, or even when you freshly wrote something and you still just feel so passionate about it and you're still so in the story, it's very easy to talk about it a lot and to
Yes.
give a lot away to the point that it's too much, that the person might say, all right, well, she or he told me everything I need to know about the story, so I really don't need to
Why
read
do
the
I
book
read it?
anymore.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful when writing that blurb. And how about a whole other description, the description on Amazon and anywhere else that you have to describe your book, right? Because I
Yes.
don't know about you, but my blurb on the back of the book is not the same as what I write for Amazon.
Really?
It's, yeah, mine is different. Is yours the same?
I think mine is the same. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I kept the blurb on the back of the book, I guess, as short as possible.
Right.
And because we have to be under a certain, right? I think you said 500 or
It's
something.
average about 500 words. Yeah.
I'm not sure what Amazon is, but definitely my blurb on Amazon, the description of the book is longer, but not incredibly long. Like I've seen descriptions run and run, like they are like super long. So
Yeah.
that maybe is a little bit too much. Like,
See, and I think that's offsetting to a reader.
yeah,
I think for me personally as a reader, I want to read basically what she's about, what he's about, and what they're doing together.
right.
So that's how I kind of do my blurbs, so that you read a little bit about what she is, who he is, and what their eventual get together will be like, kind of sort of.
Right. Yeah. Less is more when it comes
Yes.
to that, because right, you don't want to over describe. So
But now you as a writer, your reviews, when a reviewer will take like the one thing that you wanted the readers to find out on their own, and then they put that in the review, and you're like, I look at them and I'm like, you just told everybody what I wanted them to find out.
yeah, it's kind of like that's a spoiler. I was gonna say it's kind of like a spoiler, but it's not kind of like a spoiler. It is a spoiler because they're kind of giving away the story, right? I've read plenty of reviews where reviewers have actually wrote out the book like almost detail for deep, like like
Oh,
compacted.
wow.
And then I say to myself, that's a lot. Like they just gave me a lot. And
Yes.
I don't want to read it anymore because they just gave me
Too
too
much.
much. But you know what, too? I guess some readers get so excited. If they really love a story,
Yeah.
maybe they get
No,
so excited, right?
that is very true. I never looked at it from that point of view.
Yeah, that they just have to, and sometimes you're fresh out of the story and it hits you so hard in a good way or in a sad way, like it really drummed up emotions maybe for the
Yeah.
reader. And they write that review, which I gotta say is great because a lot of times if a reader doesn't write that review right away, right? They might not
Yeah.
write that review. And
Right.
reviews, we live for reviews,
Oh my God, yes.
right?
I
We
never,
live for reviews.
as a reader, not knowing as I was reading that how important they were. I mean, in the beginning with just the paperbacks, you couldn't really leave a review, when I started reading. But then when the Kindles came up, I started doing reviews because it was easy. I finished the book. It was basically the last page. So I would go and I would just give it, highlights the different things that I liked or I possibly didn't like,
Right,
but I
right,
would do it right then and there. But I never realized that I was helping that author by
right.
leaving that. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Like I just did it because I liked the book and I wanted to let them know that,
right,
but I
right.
didn't realize how important they were until I actually started writing.
Yeah, I think that's the case for a lot of people. They don't realize with, I'm sure, quite a few different careers and professions, how important certain things are. Like
Yeah.
some
So
people, go ahead.
I started adding, like if I go to a restaurant or a store, or if Google Maps comes up and says, hey, you want to, I leave the review because now I know how
Right,
important they are.
right. Even CVS, I go to CVS and I get a survey on my phone.
Yep.
And I find CVS, the ones that I have been to are great, but I have one right here in my neighborhood and everybody's, amazing over there. They're so helpful, they're so friendly. So I want to, fill out that
Compliment them.
survey and give them the credit that they
Yep.
deserve. So I mean, if you had a bad experience someplace and you're like, no, I'm not going to write a review, that's a different story. But if you feel that, someone needs to be shouted out get
Yes.
acknowledged for what they did or how they helped you or the book they wrote, anything, the service they provided. You don't realize how important that is, right? Because other
Nope.
people look at these reviews sometimes, like say with our books. Now, say someone sees the interview today and says, oh, Jill Shannon, she's pretty interesting. Let me look up her reviews. Now, if you didn't have any reviews,
Right.
the reader, if they like to go by reviews, wouldn't have anything to go by.
Right.
I believe that even, reviews that are not flattering, I
Right.
believe those are just as important
Yes.
as good reviews
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it tells people your book is being read.
Right.
And some readers want to read for themselves. They want to see if they agree with that negative or unflattering
True.
review. So it stirs up like a whole bunch of other, thoughts in a reader's mind. Do you
Yeah.
remember your first review ever or no? How you
Um,
felt? Do you remember how, because it's kind of hard to remember your first review. Do you remember how you felt? Like, were you like searching every day? Like, did I get a review
oh my
today?
God, the
Did I get
minute
a
that it came out,
review?
within an hour of it being out, I was looking to see what somebody, because it was my very first book. It was my first anything,
Right, right. It's so special.
and
It really is.
um, 5-star, 4-star, 5-star, 4-star, 1-star. So that was the one
That's the
I
truth.
zoomed in on. And as I'm reading it, it was primarily about the punctuation and grammar. And now 6 years later, but I got in touch with this woman when the book got nominated for a Golden Flogger. Then it was a
Oh, that's
finalist.
fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It was a finalist for the Golden Flogger. And I didn't feel bad losing because I lost to Sierra Cartwright. And she's an amazing writer. So I was okay with that.
Right, right, right.
But I got back in touch with this woman that left a 1-star for me. And I told her that this is what happened and so on and so forth. And she and I formed a friendship that she is now my beta reader. She will buy every single one of my books and leave a 5-star review for them. And I take her advice because we formed this friendship, where
Right.
I want her honesty. I
Exactly.
want her to tell me what I did wrong and what I should change or what I should look at. And other reviews for like 2 or 3s were like the descriptions were too long and so on and so forth. So I've shortened some of my descriptions down. Like I want the reader to walk in, reading the book. I want them to see what I'm seeing in my
Right,
head.
right.
So when they walk into the hall where they're having dinner, I want them to see the plates, the dishes, the napkins, the linens, the layout of how everything went, so that when I start talking about the story, they know exactly where they are in the room,
Right, right.
to the point where in a 5-subject notebook, I draw the room so that
Oh,
if I go back into the room, the TV is still to the left, the table is still to the right,
that's
and
an interesting process.
it makes it so that I also keep my histories right,
Right, which is really important.
So that's so when they said like in Killian's masterpiece, I described the Black Rose, which is his boat, the layout in the galley downstairs and the stairs going up, but I left not as, like the couches and the stuff like that. I limited that because
Right.
of that comment. So I do take what people say in the comments, on
Well,
the,
they're the readers, right? They're the readers.
yeah,
And while not all readers may agree with each other, or some
right,
people might love something, like some people like a lot of description, some
right.
people like a little, maybe some people like none. But it is good to take the readers' opinions and
Yes,
points of view to
yeah,
heart, right?
yes,
But and also talking about reviews and how you said some couple of your books were redone I have read, even with the most famous authors, you can notice their earlier work, the difference from their first book to their book to date.
Mm.
So writing, and they even say writing is a process. They're
Yes.
constantly learning.
Yeah.
So while you know, change some things, the I'm sure the other people too, the other authors have, you know, revised their books maybe along the way, or with, you know, if they're traditionally published, maybe, you know, that, you know, somehow changed their books along the way. But it's good to know that a lot of people feel the same way. I guess I can't say everyone, but writers are constantly learning and
Yeah.
learning from what the reviews bring in, what the readers have to say,
Right.
right? And things
You ma-
change with time.
you made the comment about traditional publishers. Okay. My first book, Onyx, was actually published by another publishing house before I went to Blushing. And exactly what you said
Yeah.
was they took parts of the book and said, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need, and they stripped that book down.
Wow.
When I got to Blushing, we had to redo the, you know, because it couldn't be what I had over on the other side. We had to redo it again. So my original manuscript was what got sent to Blushing. And when they sent it back to me, all those parts that had been taken out were still there.
Oh, wow. Look at
And
that.
and when I got the edits back, I said to them, I was like, you don't want to take these parts out? And their answer to me, which I absolutely loved, was, you wrote it, it's in your book, it belongs there.
Wow. Look
And I went, I love you.
a match made in heaven.
And oh my God, they're a great group of women and have been very helpful and have taught. I've learned a lot since being with them. So I have no plans on leaving whatsoever.
I don't blame you. That sounds fantastic. We have a couple of comments. I just want to say, Josephine says, love a good cover, right?
Yes.
And I usually wait until the end too. She's talking about writing the blurbs because Josephine is also an author. Otherwise, things could change and you have it all there. Exactly. And Gina joined us. She said, I'm late, but I'm here and listening.
Hi, Gina.
Hi, Gina. Thanks for joining us. We do have some viewers. Guys, if you want to comment, I'm happy to repeat your comments live. Otherwise, we won't know you're here, but thank you for watching. We do have the eye up in the corner that tells us that people are watching. You don't have to comment. Just hanging out and listening is fine. If anybody has any questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask. Any input, any opinions, right? We want to hear that too.
Yep.
We definitely want to hear that too.
Definitely.
So now, getting back to that very first book, where'd you get the idea to write that book?
I like to cruise for a vacation.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of figured if a BDSM dungeon can hold 200, 300 people, I could make a ship that could hold 200 or 300 people and make the entire ship a BDSM ship instead of a dungeon.
Right. And you
So
write about
I
it.
put in specialty rooms, play areas. I mean, even the staff on this ship, I made them into the BDSM lifestyle.
Now, let me ask you this. When you first, were thinking about, or when you first released this book, did you blush? Talking about blushing,
Well,
blushing with your publication, did you blush? Did you say to yourself, wow, I don't know, this is a little risque. I feel a little, I don't know, maybe I'm pushing the envelope a little bit. Like, how did you feel with that story? Being it was your first.
I was hoping, yes, I did get a little nervous because of the topic that I did, the genre I chose to write in. But as far as embarrassment or anything like that, no, none. I was full. I knew I would catch all kinds of crap from any kind of person that I knew that It wasn't so much that I would catch, they would tease, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
is this your husband and your lifestyle and stuff like that? A lot of my friends would not read it because they honestly would put me and him in that place.
They thought it was personal, maybe. They were like, oh, Jill.
And,
Right?
and I was like,
We
no,
never
all
knew.
fiction. It's not us.
Don't go in Jill's basement. Oh, funny.
But excited. I was very excited to think that I had written something different, you
Right,
know.
right.
So I was more on that kind of a high when it got published than I was
Right,
about what I actually,
the content
the
of it.
genre. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what it is though? I think every writer, no matter what we write about, we wonder, is this going to push the envelope? Is this going to be boring? Is this, not funny? Is this not serious enough? So I think no matter what genre we write, we worry that it's
Yeah.
not going to come across the way we want it to, or it's not going to be accepted by
Yes.
readers of that genre or any genre for that point. Right? That's
Yeah.
so I think
Oh
that's,
God, yeah.
I think that's a worry no matter what. I mean, especially with your first book, because I mean, it's so big. I mean, I remember when I finally finished something, beginning, middle, and end, and I wrote the end. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was, what an amazing feeling. Do you remember yours?
I was like this when I hit the submit
Yes.
button.
Oh my God, me too. I remember I was like on the, and my husband kept on saying, well, you've submitted already, push the button, push the button. I couldn't do it. I was like, oh, do I want to read this again? Should I read it? I mean, because I read my work over and over again. I don't know about you, but I'd be at the laptop and my husband would say, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm reading my book. He'd be like, again, you're reading it again, before I released it. Because I wanted to make sure that everything was in there. And I don't know. It's just so hard to release it into the world, but you have to do it. Or else nobody is ever gonna get read.
When you edit, do you edit as like per chapter, or do you wait till the end?
Well, I have an editor. I use Killing It Right. And oh my God, she's amazing. I love her. We have such a great, I mean, everything she does and her style of editing and the communication that we have together is superb. So I am so happy. So I can honestly recommend Killing It Right if anybody's looking, for an editor.
Yeah.
I can honestly recommend Killing It Right. So as far as my own editing goes, I do tend to read my story over and over again, especially when I sit down in the morning.
Mhm.
So I start writing about 4:30 a.m. Actually, I start reading my work about 4:30 a.m. And I sit in front of the laptop and I start, from the beginning, because I want to be in the scene, feel what the characters are feeling. So I read. And then I know a lot of people say, don't do this, but not everything, applies to everyone. I edit as I go along. Like if I see something needs to be reworded, or I misspelled something, or a comma goes here, or a period, or I don't like something, if I don't like something, I won't totally remove it. I will move it further down, like on a blank page, because you never know if you want to bring something back.
I've done that.
Right?
Yes.
So as far as that goes, that's how I work. And then a lot of times too, I'll let stuff go and I'll just read. But if something's really standing out and it needs to be changed, I want to fix it, right there and then, because it also helps me with the story flow, I feel.
Yeah.
How about you?
With Onyx, every single time I opened up my computer in the beginning, I would start reading like you, and I would change things and flip things. And then when I got finished with that part, then I would start. And I found that it was taking me so much longer
It does.
to do it that I just turned around and I said, okay, chapters 1, 2, and 3 are done. Read the end of a little bit of 3, get your training going. Now write. And I would read what was going on, and then I would just start picking up, because it was taking forever, because I would tweak this or change this, and I wasn't getting anywhere.
Yeah, especially when your chapters and like a ton of pages in to
Yes.
have to start over again like I do. But when I get pretty far, I won't necessarily start from the beginning. Once in a blue moon, I'll go back and I'll start in the beginning, but it'll be like maybe just a few chapters back, just so I can refresh
Right.
myself. Because like our minds as writers are constantly going, right?
Oh,
And the
hell yeah.
story is constantly playing out in our head, and we're tweaking it in our head. We could be
Yes.
watching TV, we could be driving in the car, and we're tweaking the story. So I sometimes forget what I tweaked in my head and what I tweaked in the laptop. So I
Oh,
have to
okay.
go back. Like sometimes I might say, oh, wow, that's right. She didn't go there. She changed her mind and went here. So you know what I mean? Like sometimes I need
Yeah.
like a little bit of refreshing for that.
Yes.
But yeah, to read from beginning to end. But with my first book, I will say I did read from chapter 1, page 1 to the last chapter to the last page. I couldn't help it, just
Oh,
over and over again
yeah.
is what I did.
As now as I'm writing, I'm glad that I took on that way of doing it, because like I said, 6 books in now, if I was rereading and rereading and rereading, I wouldn't have had 6 books.
You wouldn't have had 6 books. Yeah, that's so
Right.
true. You ain't kidding there, Jill. But let me ask you this too. So talking about editing, so you are the sole editor of your book?
No,
Okay.
Anna Cristal, she also writes for Blushing. She works for Blushing. She is my editor at Blushing. So as
Okay.
soon as my book is submitted, and if it's accepted, because there's always that chance that it might not be accepted. But when it is, it gets flipped over to her and she starts working on it. They map it out calendar wise to her
Right.
schedule, and she does my editing for, she's done all of them now because she did the Midnight Oasis collection over for me before it
Oh,
went into the
nice.
Kindle Unlimited.
Isn't it great to have somebody like that
Oh, I trust
that
her
you
with
can work with
everything.
so well? I mean, it's so important. I know there's writers out there that they don't, that they work with who they work with because, that's maybe who they know and they don't branch out. But
Right.
maybe it's not the best relationship. Like they're afraid, maybe their editor doesn't give them enough time, or because,
Yeah.
editors are busy. And,
Oh, yeah.
some of us writers need to be, we need a little bit of TLC. When it comes to our work, right?
Yes.
So sometimes
Yes.
we require more time than a person really has to give. You know what I mean? So we got to
Yes.
try to squeeze all those things. But when you have that great communicate, that's why I feel great communication is excellent, because it saves you time. When
Yes.
you and the editor can communicate and you're in the same headspace and they know what you're talking about, it saves so much time instead of having to explain, well, I wrote this because blah, 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 and blah, blah,
Right.
blah. If they're not getting it, it's a waste of time,
Right.
right? And they may never get it. So that's why it's
Right.
such an important relationship. So
Oh, yeah.
I just want to
She'll,
throw that in there, especially since my editor is working on something with me right now.
oh, nice.
And yeah, so I'm very happy. So I hope to be releasing something very, very soon. So it's
Oh,
with the editor,
yay.
and yeah, so I'm really delighted about
See,
it. But you see, that's where the great communication comes in.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it just makes it so much easier. Like I feel
Yeah.
like she knows what I mean when I write something, what I'm getting at, and she knows. I don't know. You know what? It's really hard to explain, but work with people that you can communicate with. So
Yeah.
and we're talking about editing, but let's talk about covers. Who's your do you do your own covers?
Well, my last 2 books I hired a model and he did the photo shoots over in the UK and sent me the photos. I told him what I was looking for, what I needed. I mean, he is the same model from Hunters to Diesel's Keepsake. And he
Okay, so you did the
totally
same
changed his appearance for the cover.
to fit the book, to fit
He
the
gained
story.
he gained a little bit more weight.
Wow.
He grew a full beard for me.
Oh, wow.
And in Hunter's Treasure, he was
He's
shirtless.
really dedicated to his job. Right?
He's a really nice man. Oh my God, he's so super friendly. And in Diesel's, I said, I need you to cover up the tattoos. So I knew I was going to make Diesel a lawyer in the book. So I said, okay, long sleeve shirt, button up. I said, and he has these hex ties that are like metallic. He's got a red one and he's got a blue one. And I said to him, I was like, okay, since Hunter's is in red, let's try and do blue for this one. So he wore the blue hex tie, long sleeve shirt, the whole nine. And he even he finds the motorcycles. This motorcycle that's in this one was his stepfather's. So
Oh, wow.
as much as I would have loved to have a Harley on the cover, I let him use that as a tribute to his stepfather.
Oh, wow. That's so nice.
So
That's
that
nice for a reader to know too.
Oh,
How there's like a personal connection with
oh
the
yeah,
model and the motorcycle. You know what I mean? I think that's
yeah.
very interesting.
So we did,
Very
like I said, Killian's is in like an orangish color. Hunter's is in the red and Diesel's is in the blue. And what I want to start doing is, instead of, I'm thinking in Diesel's, I made a dungeon that the bike club runs. And what I want to do with the next series, I think I'm going to do it, it's going to be with Demon's Dungeon, but like it's Killian's Masterpiece, Hunter's Treasure, Diesel's Keepsake. These I'm going to have the women's names on the covers. So
Oh,
they'll still be, the club will still be in the background, but it'll be more focused towards her as.
interesting. Now,
So
do you ride?
I do not drive, but I love riding on the back of my husband's bike. Yes.
Okay, because I know we have a couple of pictures that I posted on Instagram and on Facebook with you on the motorcycle.
I figure that's what I write, so I might as well have it.
Yeah, no,
You know.
I think that's a great tie-in. It's a really good connection.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it. So would you say the style of books that you write, actual people should be on the covers? Do you find that that's
I
the way it usually is?
like, if I can design the covers that way, yes, that's what I would like to do, because if I find it more personal.
Right. So you'll always use a model.
I would like to, yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah. I mean, I know sometimes things change, but right now that's how you
Yes.
see your books. Right. So now
Yes.
you have how many books?
6 total.
Wow. And are you working on something right now, or have you taken a little break?
I've been setting up and doing research for the next one I want to do, and I'm flipping between her names. So I tend to go with my title first. I like to get a title first for what I'm going to do, and then
Oh,
go
that's
from there.
interesting too.
Because I started out with Valerie is the name, and now I think because I want the name to be able to go from female to male. So like
Right.
the name that I'm thinking now is Dominique.
Ah,
You can call her Nikki, you can call her Dom. So this way
right.
she can, and I'll tell you what I want to do. I want her to be not a NASCAR driver, but like the stage before that, which I think is Wheeling, which I'm still doing research for. But
Yes, research is very important.
I want her to be a driver, and one of the demons will buy her team for her because she's being bullied by everybody on the circus.
Oh, wow. Is it because she's a female or okay.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting story
You
and
gotta-
believable. That's a believable story.
Right. Because racing is a boys' club.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. I love
always
it.
has been.
Yeah, I love where you're going with that story. I do
Thanks.
want to say that Suzanne is with us, and she says she hasn't commented, but she's enjoyed listening to us.
Oh,
Thank you,
you.
Suzanne. And Josephine says she totally agrees about the communication skills.
With the
She says,
editors.
yes, I agree totally. Jill's communication skills with the other lady must be amazing. Not sure my old lady brain would do that. LOL, Josephine. Oh, Josephine, stop, stop, stop. But yeah, it's if you had any advice to give to an aspiring writer, someone just starting out, what would it be? Do you have anything to share?
Don't be surprised at how flooded your genre may be with other authors. You know what I'm saying? That was probably one of the shocking things that I found was like, once I submitted, like I had been reading, hello, all these people have been writing these books that you're reading, and you're surprised that this just, it's flooded. You know, I sat back and went, oh, you're an idiot, you know. But that was one of the things that surprised me. Definitely don't rely on your royalties to live, because of how flooded all whatever genre you're writing, your royalties are not going to really support you. So
Right.
I thank
That's why
God that my husband allows me to do this, because he
right.
supports me to live in this house and put food on the table. But don't get discouraged. If you really have a story that you want to tell to somebody and you want to get that story out there, don't let anything stop you.
And nobody could tell your story like you.
Nope.
So you
Yep.
could have 10 stories that are the same, maybe the same plot, same location, but no one could tell it like you.
Nope.
And they
Nope.
say every story's been done already. I mean,
Yes.
right? That's what they say. Every story's
Well,
been done already. But you put your own spin on it, and
right.
it makes it different
And
because
if
the
you're
reader
doing
just wants an
romance,
interesting read.
right. If you're doing romance, generally, you know, there's going to be a happy ending in most of them. The series, me personally, as a reader, I hate a series where you got to wait for the next book to find out what's happening.
Ah,
So when I read a series, I want all of them done, because if it's going to flow from one book to the next book to the next book,
you want closure at the
I
end?
don't want, yeah, I don't, because I might not get, you know, how long do I wait to before I get back to that, you know, if it can take me a year to write a book, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? So I try to write mine as standalones so that the reader's not waiting a year for me to finish the next book.
right, right.
Because I know as a reader, if you leave a cliffhanger in book one, you better have book two out the next month.
Yes, because people will get mad,
Yes,
right?
I did get mad at as a reader. I'd get to the end of the book and go, excuse my language, ladies. What the fuck?
What the hell is this crap?
Now I gotta wait 3 months for the next book.
Oh my God. You know, I gotta say, um, if that brings, I mean, I haven't done any cliffhangers myself, but if that brings that kind of emotion out in someone like you, now I'm saying to myself, I think I want to write a cliffhanger.
Make
But
sure your
hopefully
book.
they would come back and read the next book. Or maybe I would like just write them really, really close together,
That's what
you
you have to
know?
do.
And
Write
that
them
way
really close
people
together.
people don't have to wait around. Because you know what's so annoying? And we were talking about this just the other day, only we were talking about series, you know, television series.
Again,
How, remember
same deal.
yeah, the same deal. 'Cause I got, that does make me mad, especially
Yes,
now. Like when I was a kid, when I was younger, I did watch a lot of TV. That's also
me
in my
too.
bio, but that also helped me figure out the formula of how to write a story.
Okay.
So when I used to watch TV as a kid, when there was no cable, you had the fall lineup. All the shows would start in the fall, run through the winter. They had their holiday specials and stuff like that. Then the end of spring, you'd have like the end of the season, the final, right? The final season. Usually there was a cliffhanger, especially with
Yeah.
those like Dynasty and stuff like that, right? There would be
Dallas,
a
when
cliffhanger.
JR got shot.
But yeah, like when JR got shot. But so you had the whole summer where everybody's usually busy anyway in the summer going away, and you always have the repeats.
Yeah.
So then it would pick up in the fall. What is summer? 8 weeks, 12
Yeah,
weeks of
about
no
that.
TV, something like that, you know, back then. So it would pick up in the fall and it would start all over again.
Yeah.
Now we're waiting a year, and not just because of COVID. Now that we have cable, we're waiting a year. we're waiting a year and a half. We're waiting 2 years. I mean, I'm waiting for shows, but I do understand now because of COVID. But before that wasn't the case. I was waiting so long and I was so into these shows, love these shows so much. And I would wait and then I would forget about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it kind of,
Yep.
like I lost interest in a couple of them. And that's so disappointing because you're so into it and you're like, wow, I can't wait till the show comes back. But then other shows replace those shows.
Right.
So I guess it's the same thing with books,
Yep.
right? Like they read the cliffhanger and like, oh my God, I gotta know what happens. But then they wait, and the books linger with you for a little bit. You do keep it close to your heart, close to your mind for a while. But how long before you pick up another book and you get lost in that book?
Right.
And then yeah, another book replaces it. So I definitely get that. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm interested to know if anybody could comment how they feel about cliffhangers. Do you like them? Do you
Oh,
hate
I
them?
hate them.
Does it
I
depend?
hate them if I don't have that instant gratification of finding out immediately.
Right. And nowadays,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
everything
Like you
is
said,
about instant gratification.
with
Nobody
net,
wants to wait.
right, with Netflix out the way that the series runs now, if it's finished and that it's not coming back, you can sit down, watch all of them, and you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
True Blood was a big one for me. Oh my goodness, I went away on vacation and still sat in front of the television to watch that.
I never watched that, and I know a lot of people loved it. I know the reviews were great, and it was all over social media and on the commercials on TV, but I never watched it. I don't know why.
I loved it because, again, I was reading Lindsay Sands, who was all vampire.
Right.
She
Right.
wrote,
So that was your
she
thing.
wrote a really good vampire series. So I was like, oh, a vampire show? Hell yeah.
Now let me ask you, did they wait a long time in between seasons?
It would be, like you said, like they would be in the fall. They would end right around Christmas time, and then they didn't start again until the fall, I think.
Wow.
I think that's how that one went.
And we get so many less episodes that way too. Like we
Mhm.
used to get like a whole season of like episodes, like
Yep.
real meaty story. And
22
now,
was probably the average
back
of
then,
the
right?
older shows. Yep.
But now, what do we have? 8
8,
sometimes?
maybe
Like
10.
like nothing, yeah. So they really leave you wanting more.
Yeah.
But they really need to move it up a little faster. Well, I can't believe we've been talking Jill, I gotta
Oh my
say, this has
God.
been such a fast hour. It's almost 12 o'clock. What a
Wow.
treat to get to talk to you because we haven't talked. It's been a few months since we went to lunch.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
haven't had a chance to talk. So I'm so glad that you had some time today. Now,
Me too.
will you write today or no?
My husband is out of work right now. He blew his rotator cuff.
Okay.
So until I know what's really going, I can't write with him here because as much as I love him. I'm married to him 39 years, but I know if I sit down at this computer and start typing, he's going to start talking. And he takes me right out of my thoughts,
Right,
even
right.
like texting with you yesterday or the day before, whenever we were texting, I'm sitting there on my phone with a stylus because I can't do it with my nails. And he's just blah, 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 starting to talk. I was like, could you wait 1 minute, please? This thought I really need to finish.
I know sometimes it's very easy for our concentration to be broken.
Oh God.
Right? You could be so heavily into writing something, even something as simple as a text, but if you lose your train of thought, it really throws the whole thing off.
I have a story that I started I write for YouPorn as well, just little short stories. They're erotic stories a new program that they started. I started this story June, and I have not been able to finish it. I got them in bed. All I need to do is finish the love scene.
And you just can't do it.
I can't, no.
You will. And I bet it is going to be amazing.
Oh,
so Jill, tell us all where we could find your books.
Amazon, Kobo, Mobi, Apple, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads, just about anywhere that you can find a book.
Wonderful. And all your books are under Jill Shannon.
Yep,
that
I
correct?
think yes, all under Jill Shannon. I think the only one that's not in print as of right now is Black Diamond, but Onyx, Sapphire, Killian's Masterpiece, Hunter's Treasure, and Diesel's Keepsake, all in paperback as well.
Wonderful. And the book that you're working on now, when do you expect that to be out? Or you don't, you're just playing it by ear. It's kind of hard.
I'm playing it by ear.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when
Yeah.
your husband is home, right?
I don't know when he's going back. Right
Well,
now they
baby
have him
steps,
home.
right while he's asleep.
Mm,
Right?
bad.
Well, get up extra early.
But how special he is. This is an Onyx, a Sonic, a Sapphire, and a Black Diamond. He had this specially made for me after all 3 books were made.
That is
So,
beautiful.
He really is a good guy. He just
He's
talks
a-
too much.
He's a keeper. Well, it's better than not talking at all, right? Imagine that would really drive you nuts if he didn't talk at all. The silent guy.
If I was in a groove, no, that wouldn't bother me at all.
Well, Jill, it's been such a pleasure. Thanks so much for making time to talk with me
Thank you,
today.
Stephanie.
We
Thank you
have
for
to-
everybody joining us.
Yes, thank you guys. Josephine says that is a beautiful present.
Oh,
And
thank
Suzanne
you.
says, so funny. My husband also thinks that me totally focused, typing away frantically is an invitation for him to talk to me.
I am not alone.
Hey, you're not alone. You're not alone. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. And thank you for your comments. And Jill, thank you for joining me today. It was so great to see you. And we got to do lunch again soon.
I agree. Maybe we'll bring the husbands this time.
Oh, yes, we are definitely supposed to do that. My husband's
Yes.
game, I told him all about it. And yep, he wants to do it. So
Awesome.
we will do that soon. And thank you again. And
Okay,
guys,
can't wait to see what you got coming up.
thank you. It's short and it's nonfiction.
Okay.
So, and it's geared towards, well, you know what? I'm going to save it for
Okay.
the big
Yes,
release.
save it for yours. Yes.
I'm going to save it. All right, everybody.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Stephanie Nietzsche and Jill Shannon, and we will see you again real
Okay.
soon. All right,
Bye-bye.
bye, everybody.